it's pretty valuable. Both these AD carries have taken over the laning phase from this point, and they've answered with the Samira. The Samira is way too snowbally to be very consistent. We've seen both these teams deal with it very well.
But things like Annie that we saw in game number 1 from Care had a big impact. And that's an option here as well, especially with the Nico down. And especially with the LeBlanc down as well. Priority options towards mid go down a little bit. So Nymaera, what else? AD carry again. Something like Varus, Ashe still available. Xayah's been banned away in this series before. And LWX just locks it in.
LWX does go towards that Xayah, which means the Rakan has a lot more value now. Milio is still on the table. There's a chance you go towards that. That was second round banned in game 2. This would be an option for them. If you do pick up something like that Milio or the Lulu, though, you are, of course, giving over the Xayah Rakan on the other side and giving Chocho good ability to engage. However, I mean, passing at Milio, you don't really do that nowadays. It's really, really good still. And at least now LWX has himself some more self-peel potential. You don't have to deal with the problems of Samira into point-and-click or crazy AoE damage that you can't really block out. So at least FPX can play a bit more standard in the team fight, but you're still going to have to deal with Shanji and the robot.
But does Xioalaohu have a response, or are they just going to go for the Rakan on the bottom side? Where's it, Nymaera? 2 directions here for FPX, and they go, no, we're just going to take Blitzcrank. Which, to be fair, against the 3 picks so far, that's high value.
I absolutely agree. I mean, it has been the Milio answer. We saw even LGD take a game off of JDG, very bottom of the table versus very top of the table, take game 1 in their series versus them by just continually flashing in and hooking the Milio. Started at level 1 trying to blow that flash. We'll have to watch for that in this game. And I think it's also very important to remove that Wukong, which we've seen off the table now, though, from FPX, because that extra kind of AoE setup, which can allow the equalizer to take just a little bit longer and still have that early presence, really affecting things too. Jungle Pool getting hit hard on both sides now, though.
Yeah, it really is. 3 out of 4 of the second-tier bans are just jungle. Remember, Ivan Maokai also taken away. We are going down the list. As Hackers game 1 on the Kha'Zix was exceptional. Definitely worthy of a ban from OMG. But what else? Viego? Like, we just keep going down to now A, B tier.
I think Sejuani has value because you have the melee top laner for Shanji. The Jax ban might also signal something like a Sejuani as well, because you could have looked to lock in the Sejuani on 4 here from FPX and then go towards the Jax on the 5th pick, knowing that OMG can't take the Jax away because they already had that Rumble. That would be a very different pick. They're hovering through a lot of our BT junglers, as you were saying, though.
Oh, Vi.
This, though, of course, wait, yeah, this is, yeah, I mean, Vi's been left up. Why don't you just take that one point and click? That now allows something like a last pick Ahri coming in from Kara as well, unless Creme wants to take that away. Oh, no, of course, they already have the Annie, but the Ahri now raises up in priority with and against that Vi either way, so maybe Creme goes towards it.
Still a good point, but you do have double AP solo liners, which for OMG, is that really going to be the direction? I mean, Nocturne would facilitate a bit more. But you were mentioning this before, this is one of the few left open that teams still see as, gets a priority.
Allows you to play around that melee synergy. OMG were one of the best Sejuani teams in the world. Are we going to get it? Oh, please, come on. This will be... Yes, we get it! Welcome to Kiana Jones and the Carpets of Doom. We have the double melee synergy between the solo laners of OMG and the Sejuani. OMG, I love this team. I love this composition. FPX, they have themselves a lot of pick potential. But if they ever get caught out of position, this is such large wombo engage.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? While for FPX, their direction's different, isn't it? It feels like now we're just going to be saying the words front to back. Longer team fights here, Nymaera, or pick potential. OMG, let's be real, though. Their comp looks hell of exciting, with those R buttons being huge once again.
I love this so much. So much kind of turnaround from fairly long range away can come out from OMG. You have the Kiana flashing in. We have seen Creme take a lot of these solo kills as well with that Kiana. Someone like that Annie never really gets tanky enough to deal with Kiana completely in a side lane. It's not going to be the LeBlanc, which has as much safety as when you're playing in larger map states, but you do have a huge amount of ability to take out pretty much anyone that comes up against you. Xioalaohu on the side, if he gets ahead, maybe he'll be an issue because he might be tanky enough to stop Kiana coming in from the side of a flank, but still, I think there's a lot of individual playmaking potential from OMG, which they'll revel in.
Let's see how we go in the lanes, though, because again, for Creme, for Shanji, eyes will be on them. Kiana, Rumble. What a combination to come through. I mean, OMG, they are just I'd say the most fun team to watch in terms of draft. They've got so many pocket picks. Creme always flashes them out. You know, we thought Care would be the one doing it this series. Hasn't really been. Instead, it's been about Creme. It's been more so about Shanji as of the last game as well. Let's see how the lanes go, Nymaera, because last game, OMG ended up winning all three. Bot side was the focus to stabilize. They did that, and then mid and top tore the rest of FPX apart. In game number 3, OMG with the momentum from the last. And it's a shy away from what FPX showed us in game 1, which was, I think, one of their cleanest games of League of Legends so far in a split. But OMG have obviously woken up. And maybe that's not a good thing here for the Phoenix to run into the last of the series. Gantier all the time. LGD are the TSM of China without fail.
They are currently sat, of course, quite near the bottom of that table. So
yeah,
not necessarily finding themselves the great amount of success, but their fans love them nonetheless. FPX, they need to blow as many flashes in this early game as possible. I think that gives them a lot of ability to use Hacker's Vi and Chocho's Blitzcrank to stop OMG getting to a point where they can find their first big ults of the game. On the other side, if the top side of the map goes towards OMG and they start taking off, that will be very dangerous. Chocho trading flash for flash. I think that's his goal here.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, decimating smash, the combo. Aki's just dead. It's 125, Nymaera. Thank you so much for the free red or Raptors. Pick your choice.
Creme doesn't get to do that much at level 1. He does get a good trade onto Care. Very rarely does Qiyana get that strong trade there. Hax is going to take an entire quadrant of the jungle. And because Xioalaohu has himself the teleport, he can get back towards that top side. I'm not exactly sure what Shanji's doing that top side. I think he'll probably be looking to deny a couple of minions. I don't think he can really threaten to crash into tower this early on, with also denying so many minions away from Xioalaohu. He'll probably teleport back up in time. But this is the game plan that FPX need to do. Chocho on this Blitzcrank, they want to put as much pressure towards the bot side as possible.
Xioalaohu just, stay. No problem. No worries whatsoever. 4-bad bot. Aki hovering out. Chocho needs a hook here onto Abel. That'd be everything, but waiting for the wave to crash. I mean, Xioalaohu is going all in. FPX throwing balls to the wall as he's interrupted from the decimating smash. Not great for the time being as hook connect. Chocho not taking it up. It's Xioalaohu as Abel picks up the kill, but meanwhile Hacker's got good damage onto Aki. But this has not ended yet, has it? Abel now using range, but they're all dying. Oh, OMG! Still, it means that FPX pick up the kills, but it's 2 kills onto Abel. What a mess as Ppgod's left by his lonesome. Oh, it's just another hook angle, isn't it?
And no CS! He hasn't killed a minion before he's killed 2 champions! The dive is what FPX should be going towards. But at what cost now as well? Shanji is utterly off. Hacker has no flash. This is really dangerous.
Into his hands. Ignites down. Shanji's going to auto him. No way, solo kill on the jungler. OMG are also going to keep their top laner intact. It's a solo kill this early on. Man, I don't know what to make of it, Nymaera.
Okay, who has the gold? Right, so you don't have CS onto Aphelios, 20 CS down, so that's where some of the gold falls back towards FPX's bot lane. Giving gold over towards Shanji in that kill onto the jungle, though, is a big problem afterwards. The way that this tower tanking ends up happening, because Aki cancels the silent Q to start things off, which stops Xioalaohu kind of cleanly starting off the dive, really changes things for FPX. It's not as clean as they would have liked it to happen, especially with that Ghost being able to give Abel enough mobility to get out alive after that point. While this happens, the hook barely misses. That's the other thing which I want to talk about, though. You have the carpets being rolled out later into the game are going to be absolutely nuclear. Creme has had a strong early laning phase. Sometimes Qiyana can struggle against ranged characters at level 1 and level 2. The Care not able to stand up in that regard. And then Shanji gets the kill as well. OMG, even though they're even in gold, they have important gold in important places.
That's very true. And they also have themselves a 2-0 Aphelios on top of that point. That is 15 CS behind. But as you said, picked up the 2 kills before any CS at all. It means that Abel is down a little bit in experience. Level 4 on LWX, level 2 on Abel. As his next wave should push him closer to 3. He's just hit it, in fact. But still, the point stands that a recurve bow to kick things off is still a great start. Gold being even. Oh, for FPX to commit that much, maybe a disaster is lying in wait. Chocho now with his flash. He gets the Milio, but Ppgod and Kara's his way out of it. And Hacker can't come in. Aki here just in case. And there you go. A summoner taken for a hook as, no. Hacker's just used Q. Doesn't have flash, but wants to re-engage onto Aki. That's big. Chocho. The hook, I believe, a couple of seconds off as Care does get a stun over the wall, but FPX keep hard committing to this, but not finding exactly what they're after.
And now we're getting to the point where ultimates are going to start getting available. The gold towards the bot side of the map seems fairly good from the side of FPX. I think that, again, continually trying to punish the summonerless Aphelios and now the Milio as well. I think that's probably their game plan, but the next time they do that, there's the chance that Creme comes down into the play and absolutely mullers them for the attempt. Chocho hex flashing forward again and does land it.
E doesn't connect, though, after the fact from Chocho. I'm not sure about the mana situation there, as LWX has a lot of roots to pull in, but Gravitum gets a trade off. And in fact, it's actually OMG who do so much better in that situation. FPX just have to leave themselves.
That feels like the last window of time to really be dominant. They have themselves the CS advantage, but again, the 2 kills give at least a decent amount of gold back to Abel. The problem is the XP, right? It's 2 levels down. Minions losing out on them really does set you behind, so Aphelios is catching up in that one. Creme level 6, Shanji level 6, OMG, they have more than enough power to play around top side of the map, and of course the Sejuani double melee synergy. We've not really seen the most of that so far, because it's not really been about top side skirmishes. If it does become about top side skirmishes, FPX, I think they're going to be in for a lot of trouble.
I mean, look, still already I think they're in a bit of trouble because this top side is huge, just on its own. Mid is doing fine as well, like as Equalizer comes down, Xioalaohu getting bullied out of lane, well, at least to a degree, as this Unsealed Spellbook Scion has Ignite to land on, but Shanji will just continue chilling in the laning phase, so... Nymaera, I don't know what we've witnessed in that early game. It's thrown me off completely. Like, I just don't know what to make of it.
Hang on, buddy. You've been in the LPL a lot longer than I have. How are you not prepared for this?
Because that was crazy. That was crazier than normal LPL stuff. That was like, oh, I couldn't even track it. We've seen level 1s. We've seen crazy 5v5s. But dives that go for a minute and Aphelios that gets a double kill without CS. I mean, now I've apparently seen it all.
So, funnily enough, the last time that OMG played Qiyana, they also reached, I think it was a game 2 after a game 1 loss, and they came out with the Qiyana. They were playing as Zera Yuumi at that point, and they got a level 1 quadra kill effectively onto the Yuumi. It was absolutely nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like when the Qiyana's in the game and it gets towards game 2, game 3, things just go off the rails a little bit. It's one of the reasons why we love watching this region, and of course this team as well. But yes, that was outside of any reasonable expectations.
It's set up Shanji to have lots of solo time in lane. 20 CS is the lead. Looking elsewhere, as we already talked about, Creme in a great spot. Bot, I didn't see gold there, but I'm assuming Abel pretty much even, if not inching out a little bit ahead. As he now has Berserker Greaves on top of that recurve bow. So things still good here as FPX looking for options into lanes. You can see now Chocho starting to move Nymaera with mobility boots picked up. Trying to sync up with Hacker a bit and get some of these picks that they desperately need.
And I think what they need to keep doing is keep forcing these summoners away, but if LWX loses his hit, that's really awkward. Just the Ghost and the move speed from Ppgod forces out something away from LWX. And we saw this a little bit in, I think it would have been about game 2 when Abel was on the Aphelios himself. You saw if you move your support away from a losing kind of 2v1 or 1v1 AD carry matchup, you can get really punished. That does mean that LWX not nearly as safe as he was before.
Okay, though. Got his Hacker nearby. There's Hacker, sorry, I was going to say jungler, but still, the point remains. Can't find it engaged, though, as OMG's bot side moving up. Nymaera, it's all for this Herald. I mean, again, this play, everyone's putting their 2 cents down, but OMG are the ones who are damaging it first and pretty much shredding it.
No sign ult, that's important. No. Aki goes in.
Oh, and Creme. Oh, what do you call it, Nymaera? It doesn't really land, though, from Creme as still the carpet's down. FPX walked into a trap, and they can't walk out. Because they love Herald too much, baby. Oh, who sings that song? I'm going to play that after this. Because it's just a win, isn't it? It's just an OMG win that moves them up to 2K.
Yeah, we're like half of the way there to Kiana Jones and the Carpets of Doom. That was the carpets of like mild dissatisfaction for FPX. It still hurt, but it wasn't quite the game-ending play. They still lose Herald. They didn't have the Scion ult to play that fight around. And it meant that, again, just the fight became too broken up too quickly. FPX couldn't start it on their own terms. They couldn't make it a front to back. And that's going to be a big problem later on now, because you're going to have a Herald thrown into one of these turrets. I mean, I can understand it being thrown into mid lane. If you want to throw both Heralds into it, that's often the way it goes, or try and break down a full turret for one of these side lanes. But this is such a big issue. If you are getting involved in all of these big ultimate fights, you just don't win when everyone presses their R button if you're the side of FPX. True. Unless Kai gets a huge, huge tibbers, which wasn't the case here.
Oh, God. Look who got the kills again. Like, just, you were saying earlier in the game, gold in the right places. Look at the kills. Again, right places. One for Aphelios. April says thanks. And another over to Shanji, who's already doing so well. This is just OMG who've switched on in the series since Game 2, have really just come up to the plate. You'd think it's a completely different team. If we didn't have cams, I'd be asking the refs to check who's behind the keyboard. Because Game 1, OMG looked like they were asleep at the wheel.
It's like, oh,
Game 2...
I'm not actually left-handed. Let me play with my right hands. And they've gone for the cross map now. They have themselves the Herald towards top side. They had the Crescendum for Abel. There's going to be 2 plates already on that top side. One of them, I believe, was taken by Shanji earlier. And this is the problem with cross-mapping against that Aphelios. Yes, Shanji is going to be zoned out a little bit, but he can have that ultimate on the next wave. He can save that if he wants to clear out that wave. Instead, he's going on a bit of a jaunt towards this bot side jungle.
Well, Herald giving gold away as this might even turn into a dive. Xioalaohu has his flash, has ulti, but is he going to be able to use any of it? He ultis, but at no cost as Abel picks up yet another kill. LWX gets solo time with bot side turret, so there is at least something here for FPX, but more opportunity to open up the map to get more gold and, of course, get those carries in an even more comfortable position here in the first 15.
So Xioalaohu clears out the wave under turret, but he doesn't have this ultimate to get back under turret where he needs to be on the map after that point. Hack is trying to reclaim something in his jungle, and luckily Care and Chocho are in mid lane to at least kind of buy him that red buff at least. But OMG absolutely turbo feeding Abel after this Herald play in the way that you can basically only do with Aphelios because of his ability to cut down turrets. In this early game with those chakrams. Maybe someone like a Tristana can do similar. And of course, they're very good at playing Tristana too. Wouldn't you have that in your back pocket? But OMG, they're walking back out onto the map now, and they are so comfortable with how this Game 3 is going. Again, this team in best of threes, it is so alien that they are so poor in Game 1 compared to the rest of it. But this is why we call them a top 3 potential team. Top 4, top 3, call it what you want. They look really good.
And again, you know, I doubted it in game number 1. But again, I feel like I've casted OMG and said the same thing in other game 1s of theirs. But this is looking so much better as the 3k gold lead is blooming in front of the Dragon that's now up. And FPX looking for a pick beforehand is onto Shanji. Well, they might get his flash away in a front line. He lands, but flashes a little bit late. Stun up. Shanji so disrespectful not to flash the hook. And he's shut down because of it. So net positive for FPX to now pick up second Dragon.
Thought the movement speed was enough to get himself out of that hook's range. Not the case. So Chojo gets himself another hook in an important moment. That opens up a lot for FPX. It allows them to get a second Dragon potentially, but instead, maybe, because they still have Flash, looking towards bot side.
Look at this Lancer. There we go. Another one. Decimating Smash locked up as Glacial Prison doesn't connect here, but Abel, he's so fed against the Scion. It's a nightmare. They're meant to be having a free Dragon, but Abel is spinning to winning as FPX is still in the river, but have to fear Abel who has Flash available. Running in for the fight. It's so dangerous. Xioalaohu running in as well as Abel gets another one. The range is there with Calibrum. Abel. LWX is running away from the said man, Mr. Abel, as his Flash wasn't even burnt, but he picked up a kill in the fight. They get more after the Dragon. Oh my god, he is enabled this game. FPX run.
Care forced to walk away from his turret. I'm telling you, man, this guy has to rename to Kane because he is so adept at murdering. Shows us how to do that one. So many kills. They didn't manage to kill him at that level 1 dive. The gold given over to Abel because of Arki's great play to kind of elongate the dive at the very first levels of the game have allowed this Aphelios to pop off into the absolute stratosphere. Creme gets pretty much an entire turret in mid lane too. FPX, they've made too many mistakes at this point. OMG have the gold in the right places, the XP, the map pressure, and despite the fact that they have a couple of good picks, you don't get to do this for free all the time. This one's a good moment. Gets the Shanji Rumble off the board, who does so much damage as we know, but they can't replicate that, and Abel manages to thread the needle, pops the ghost, and runs them down.
Did I mention Abel in the bot side? Oh, man.
Did you? I don't know. Did we mention him yet?
I don't know. If we said Abel enough times here as I will be honest, you know, that other kill makes 5, and I'm still worried after the fact as look at Shanji in the backside. Again, right kills going to right people. Excuse me, it was Creme in the end. As look, they might get second dragon, but Nymaera, when we come back to live, look at the goal. 4,000 in the lead for OMG. A dragon early was picked up by OMG, so it's not like soul stacking is there for FPX. As speaking of which, one of the picks here, Aki in vision, but they know, whatever. Pick the Sejuani. Hilk doesn't connect in the end, and look at the carpet. Oh my God! A supreme display of superiority from OMG. Guess what the man I spooked about is going to die? But FPX are blasted from this series in one fell swoop.
There are your carpets. That's the red carpet of doom for you. And FPX, they try to play it tricky, but they can only lock up the frontline target who doesn't care about the damage he's taking. Aki gets himself the aftershock, plans things out perfectly. Don't think they had correct vision in that bush, but they spot them out all the same. Creme has enough lethality now to take down an inner turret after that point. And OMG, they just live up to their namesake because it is what we're calling out in every team fight. They're just so good at piling onto the plate.
7,000, second Herald. You wouldn't believe that it's pre-20 minutes with the way the game's going. 13 kills for this blue-sided squad. We're about to get a replay, ladies and gentlemen. Gear up, buckle in. This was everything you want out of this comp.
Put down that ward, and this is just absurd. 3-person equalizer and the Supreme Displayer's talent catching a 4th on the side as it wraps around the wall. I mean, what more do you want from this kind of composition? They've had so many clean wombo combos between Game 2 and Game 3. I love this team, man. Yep.
I mean, OMG, look, deserve the respect in Game 2 and 3 for the later half of this series. 7, 1, and 5 on Abel. You don't have the kills under Creme, but you've got the assist to show how much he's been involved. Shanji on Rumble again, not given respect as he was left with his pick that dominated FPX in game number 2. They didn't think it was a big deal, but I guess OMG said otherwise. As now, we're going to talk about FPX. I mean, I'm trying to look at how they come back into the game, Nymaera. It feels like picks, but the problem is OMG do that better. Bye-bye, Chocho. Ppgod somehow picks up the kill on a champion that has barely any damage, but still, it's just another nice pick.
Ppgod being the glue which keeps the team together in this game. Sticks Chocho to the ground and gets the kill afterwards. And now even Hacker forced out of his own jungle. You're absolutely right. You're talking about how FPX, they have themselves a pick composition, lots of point-and-click CC with the Annie and the Vi and then blah, blah, blah. But when you lose vision control and you lose control of the game and your towers are down and you're losing gold, you don't get to do that as well as OMG's composition, especially with the amount of damage that comes in from just across the map. It doesn't matter if they're not global ultimates, but everything that can fly in from a full screen away sure feels like it.
Oh, it does indeed. OMG now using the pressure that they've got with Herald for the bot side inner as Hook lands, but it's onto a Sejuani. You know what that sets up? Turret to go down, Equalizer to fall through, Xioalaohu to get flashed in front of and die. There goes the turret alongside with it. If I didn't mention before, as Care's now teleported in, there's the ulti from Abel, but flying through the heavens is Hacker as a supreme display of talent follows through. Creme is putting on the moves. The Dairy finding suit. As Shanji again, in he goes. Care is just auto-attacked by Calibrum. And OMG putting on the moves. These carpet salesmen are incredible with their discounts at the moment.
Shanji's in the robot again, and FPX just don't know what to deal with it. Golden Fire rakes across the team of FPX. LWX just hasn't had enough self-peel available. He picks up the Zyra, it's not been enough to save him from all of the engage from OMG. Maybe if he'd had more gold early, maybe if that dive had worked out, but it didn't. Chocho's getting caught again. He's hitting the ground again.
He is indeed. Dragon was tried to be taken by Hacker, but not when Creme's got his way back to say something about it. 10,000 gold. Hacker on no man's land. They're like, hang on. Dragon was started. Someone's nearby. Oh, dearie me. Well, Hacker's only got one way out. Over the wall here. Q going to be blocked. Creme in his face. It's going to be a little bit slower than you would expect. But Hacker's still dead to a solo kill. And OMG putting on the moves like a first date here in Game 3.
So much golden pocket, so much ability to just pile on the damage. Xioalaohu has managed to catch up a fair amount of gold, despite the fact that he was 0-5 before this play. It's just not enough. The flash in front of the ultimate stops him from being in place. And as soon as that front line is down, how do you stop someone like Care just getting completely blown up on the backside? Almost takes out Creme in return at that point, but LWX is the one that gets completely blown out. FPX, if they don't start this fight off well and they manage to maintain a front to back, it gets too broken, they get torn apart.
What can you do? Gold continues to grow. 20 minutes in, feels like FPX are back against corner, and that's because they are. Chocho's still the one who needs to be reliable, one of these hooks on the carries, but every time it's really been Arky who gets pulled in. Now with Baron as well, I mean, that's the other thing. OMG had the ability to start breaking down the base even further. With Baron, something that FPX have to walk towards.
I mean, it's a difficult question, right? Because it's like, where are you choosing to dig your grave? You're going to do it at your base when the Baron's been taken, or are you going to do it in the Baron pit in the hopes of a steal? I suppose that's slightly better. OMG, I suppose, when they're in the enemy jungle, have a lot of extra options as well. Finding Qiyana and something around that red buff pit, it's just terrifying. That ultimate covers so much of the battleground which you're choosing. FPX take this moment to try and push in mid-wave, but now Baron's been started. They're going to be forced into a very difficult series of choices.
Oh, Chocho there with the flash forward, gets Ppgod, but look again! Down with the carpet, the supreme display of talent follows suit, and once more the salesmanship is incredible. It will be a quick pick from FPX off the back end, but even though it's messy, look who's alive. Running forward, Abel's picked up the double. There's a triple on the horizon. Luckily, LWX gets out of there, but now just take the Baron. FPX can do no right.
How the heck does Ppgod live through that? He was the one that was hooked at the start of it. Creme's the one that dies after flashes are committed by FPX. Luckily, this time LWX manages to get some damage off and put Creme into the dirt for the first time in this game. Kills the Qiyana, but it's, again, it's where do you choose to dig your grave? They choose it at the Baron. They didn't have the vision control. They didn't have time to do that. They weren't allowed the time to have that vision control. Starts off with a hook. Chocho, on the whole, has had a good Blitzcrank game. But a 4-person equalizer with no CC to aid it, that is actually a really good ult. That's really hard to pull off.
Yep.
Doesn't manage to clean up the kills towards the end of it, but does enough damage to just make sure that the HP bars are not there for FPX to keep fighting.
As you said, somehow Ppgod survived. Hilarious after the fact with the 1-0-19 Milio, almost 100% KP, but you're getting towards that point for a lot of people like Abel, even like Arky as well. This game has been all OMG all the time, all together, with those ultis we talked about from the draft as well. It's surprising that Creme still only has 2 kills in a full lethality build. It's just hilarious. Again, he's been setting them up, and it feels like the rest of the members on OMG have been knocking him down.
So, Baron buff enabled, active on OMG. Where are they going to start swinging the punches? They have a lot of dive available to them. They can try and throw out that Rumble Equalizer again. That's exactly what they're doing.
Chocho not going to land a rocket grab on the back end either. Creme off on the wing. He's spotted on a ward though as FPX still being hurdled down. I mean, look at this. Aphelios running down the Scion. Almost dies to the ulti from Abel. Didn't even need the flash forward for that as that's coming off cooldown. Meanwhile, Creme is hurtling through mid. Topside's being blown down. 23 minutes in, a second inhibitor will fall. Bot side minions are traveling in as well. Nymaera, we know this is over. It's just about how quickly OMG are going to finish it.
There's FPX. What have they got left in the tank? I don't even think a miracle Blitzcrank hook can help you unless it's onto Abel, which just about misses. Now they're under their turret without their key weapon.
And they're trying to finish the fight right here. FPX's win streak, it's only 1, but they've hurdled it themselves out of the bottom of the table, excuse me, is into Abel. That's a good pick, a great rocket grab. But remember, other things are still available. It's Creme in once again. It is that Rumble who does die in the end and loses Magi's. FPX actually winning the fight here. As looking for more. Chocho going to pull in the enemy jungle. FPX with numbers advantage, won't care though, as that ulti from Creme. Not the greatest. He'll find a kill in the back end though. As Hacker Xioalaohu are looking for the chase. Care as well. They'll hold on to their base. That pick from Chocho, that setup, it worked.
How does Abel get hit by the hook? You're meant to be deep inside your own team composition. Like, you should never have a clear angle to hook, but Chocho finds it. And again, sometimes scorelines really do a player dirty. 0-5 on the Blitzcrank. Chocho has still been really the one reason why FPX can look for these plays. It's just kind of sucks the player, this champion, when the team's behind. It's Hacker getting the ult first. Everyone has to clear out the way. Knocked aside. It's the buy into the Blitzcrank. That's how they managed to get the hook onto Abel, even though he's inside his own team composition. FPX, they buy themselves a bit more life in this game.
Just a little bit. But how much further can they travel? That's the only question, right? Off a good Blitzcrank hook, small opportunity, but meaningful to keep the game going. We'll be talking about people like LWX and what he can achieve now if anything comes through. As Abel, I believe, just picked up the Mountain Dragon. Yes. And that's why Observer decided to zone us in to OMG, picking up one more objective to make them harder to kill.
Sheen was on cast yesterday, and he's talked about this a little bit, where like he likes to characterize the observers of different leagues, and LPL will just zoom in on players for quite nonsensical reasons. Yeah. They'll zoom in on cannons, they'll zoom in on anything. Might need to zoom in on Abel again.
But he used everything to get out. Look at the distance between everyone. The difference is that Hacker's gone too deep, but rest of OMG are still here as Shanji gets half HP, but the ulti again. They're still so far ahead. One opportunity does not beget another. And now with the final touches, Creme finally gets some kills on the board. Abel back on in. And this is a 26-minute win. It was a hold from FPX in this final game to keep it going a little bit longer, but it is still a quick one. It is still 27 kills at 26 minutes. And OMG moving up to 7 still shows us this team is getting ready for playoffs.
3-6 in game 1s, but you wouldn't know it from their series score. So dominant in games 2 and 3, and a rare opportunity for me to see one of my favorite team compositions, the Qiyana Rumble, Qiyana Jones, and the Carpets of Doom, doomed FPX in that game 3. I don't even think FPX looked weak today. I think they had some good plays. Game 1 was a good answer to what OMG had put onto the map in terms of their